Nicola? What's going on? I heard you were admitted to hospital.
Hi, Wendy. Yeah, that's right. I'm in the hospital now.
I was so surprised when Joe told me. I couldn't believe it.
Sorry for causing a fuss.
Anyway, you'll be able to get discharged tomorrow, won't you?
Huh? Tomorrow?
Oh no, you didn't forget, did you? We have guests due to come tomorrow morning, so I need you to be here first thing to make the necessary preparations to entertain them. I told you this, didn't I, Nicola? Yes, and before that, you'll need to vacuum the living room where everyone will be gathering, plus the entrance, hallway, and kitchen.
I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it tomorrow.
Good grief. So let me get this straight. Not only did you get admitted to hospital all of a sudden and without telling me, but now you're refusing to carry out your duties as my son's wife? Why did my son have to choose such a sickly woman for a wife? I ask myself that question every day.
Sickly? No, I'm not. The reason I'm in the hospital is...
Be quiet. If you got admitted to hospital and you're not injured, that must mean you have some kind of disease. If you have a disease, that means you're sickly. Chances are slim you'll ever produce an heir for our family at this rate.
No, listen to me.
Do not answer me back, young lady. I asked Joe. He told me you've been refusing to do housework lately because you feel sick and have been palming it all off on him. Do you take joy in forcing my son to do a woman's job?
I never forced him.
I regularly see my poor son wheeling a shopping cart around the supermarket on his way back from work. To think you'd force a grown man in a suit to go grocery shopping. His pride as a man must be at rock bottom. How could you do this to him? Oh yes, and I couldn't help but notice lately. You've started getting fat, haven't you? Just more proof you've been lazing around the house stuffing your face while you force the housework onto my poor son. My poor Joe. He doesn't deserve this.
Please, listen to me, Wendy.
You and my son will be getting a divorce.
Huh?
When you get discharged from the hospital, I'll be moving the discussion forward. Your days are numbered.
Wow, what the hell? Where did this come from all of a sudden?
There's no way a sickly excuse of a woman like you could produce healthy children. There's nothing else for it. I'll have to have him get rid of you and find someone healthier. That boy will have to learn how to choose a good woman.
Wow.
I have nothing else to say to you. After the divorce, you won't be welcome anywhere near mine or Joe's house ever again. Make the necessary preparations for getting out of our lives forever.
Hey, Nicola. Today was the day you got discharged from the hospital, right? I just came to your room, but you were gone already. I wonder if we missed each other as you were leaving.
Joe, I'm sorry. I had my dad come and pick me up.
Huh? Your dad? Why?
I'm at my folks' place now.
Huh? How come? That's the first I've heard of you going to your folks' place when you got discharged. I thought you'd be coming with me. What's going on? Did something happen?
Yes.
By any chance, was it something involving my mom again? Please, tell me what she did. I'm worried about you, babe.
I got a message from your mom on the first day I came to the hospital. She said your family had no need for a wife as sickly as me, and that she was gonna have you divorce me.
Huh? Sickly? Surely your hospital stay couldn't be helped.
I did try to explain that to her, but it seems she interpreted the fact my belly grew due to the pregnancy as me lazing around the house doing nothing while forcing you to do the housework. She rattled on and on. It was one unreasonable request or malicious insult after the other. She was really bad this time. At first it was because I couldn't get a word in edgeways, but eventually I just gave up trying to explain.
I see. Actually, I think this is fine. Even if you did explain to her, she would have probably just found something else to pick fault with. Rest up at your parents' place for the time being, babe. You deserve it. You've been through a lot. Anyone can see my mom is obviously a huge source of stress for you. I think both of our minds will be more at ease if you're with your mom and dad.
Sorry I didn't tell you I was coming here beforehand. I did actually plan on coming back to the house until this morning. But when my dad suddenly suggested I go back to their place instead, I changed my mind. When I thought about the possibility of your mom figuring out out where I was going, because she's so overprotected of you, she goes to great lengths to be aware of every minute detail of your life. I thought it'd be best just to tell you afterwards instead.
Ah, that makes sense. You did the right thing, babe. Actually, she's been staying over ever since you got admitted to hospital. My mom, that is.
Really?
Given how things are right now, I think you two crossing paths would be terrible and should be avoided at all costs. My mom did say she'd take care of all the housework for me until you've recovered from your illness and got out of hospital. But I've been worried this whole time she'd go causing trouble behind my back. And lo and behold, she did. That woman's impossible. She can't keep getting away with this. Your dad made the right judgment.
I see. I'm glad you understand, Joe. Thanks.
Let's not correct my mom's misunderstanding that you got fat for the time being. Rest up, take your mind off everything, and leave the Wicked Witch to me.
Thanks a lot, Joe. It means a lot.
Nicola, I heard the news. And a boy at that. Nice work. But good grief, I've never met a woman as dishonest as you. Why do you have to be so standoffish with me? I had no idea you were pregnant. You haven't come to see us even once since you got out of the hospital. I want to see my grandson. I did suggest to Joe that he divorce you for your repellent behavior, but he's adamant that won't be happening. That boy is so stubborn. Now he's sulking and won't speak to me, so I can't even ask him about my precious grandson. Thinking about it now, I'm guessing you must have gone back to your folks' home and had a home birth. If you had any sense about you, you wouldn't have troubled your parents and given birth in my house instead. Oh well, I suppose you did produce a male heir, so I shouldn't be too hard on you. I'll tell you what, just this once, I'm willing to overlook it. Anyway, when will you be coming back? I want to see my darling grandson. It's almost been a month now and I still haven't seen him. We have to show off our heir to the relatives and neighbors, you know. So please get back here as quickly as you can.
Hi, Wendy. It's been a while. I have no intention of coming back.
Huh? What are you talking about? Of course you do. You're my son's wife and a part of this family. How long do you think you're going to get away with boarding at your parents' place? You have duties to this family, so get back here and carry them out. Even putting it kindly, you're a sickly, no-good excuse of a wife with more shortcomings than I can count on both hands. It would be one thing if you at least accepted that and worked hard to serve family by way of making up for your defects, but no, you're stubborn and disobedient to boot.
I'm a sickly, no-good excuse for a wife, huh? This was the first time I've had to go to the hospital in my whole life, and the doctors actually told me I'm very healthy.
They did? In that case, why would you have to be carried off to the hospital in such a dramatic fashion? It sounded like you caused quite the fuss. I'm sorry to break this to you, but that only tends to happen to sickly people, my dear.
Because the morning sickness was horrendous.
Huh? Morning sickness?
I could barely stand for a few minutes without getting out of breath, so my doctor recommended I admit myself to the hospital to be on the safe side.
You were on the maternity ward the whole time?
That's right.
Why didn't you tell me? I'm your mother-in-law.
I didn't feel like it anymore.
What?
I did intend to start keeping you in the loop once I entered my 12th week. But then when the morning sickness got bad and I admitted myself to the hospital way earlier than planned, I thought it'd be better to let you know then. I spoke to Joe about telling you too. Then, literally just as I was about to send you the message announcing the pregnancy, I got a torrent of hateful, abusive messages calling me every name under the sun.
I see.
When I tried to explain the real reason I was in the hospital, you interrupted me every time, telling me to be quiet, or ordering me to stop answering back like I was some mischievous child. You went on and on and on, complaining at me endlessly. You made me feel so small at a time when I already felt bad enough due to my condition. It dawned on me that with things like this, if on the off chance I gave birth to a daughter, you'd probably lose your mind, and I actually felt scared for my own and my child's safety, which is why I sought safe haven at my parents' place and decided to keep quiet about everything until after the birth.
I see. Anyway, never mind all that. It's in the past now. The most important thing here is that you produced us a male heir. Everything turned out all right in the end. All's well that ends well, right? Let's just let bygones be bygones, okay?
What?
So when will you be coming back here? I want to see the little heir's face.
You think I'm just gonna forget about everything that easily? Bye.
Wait, what? Nicola?
Mom, it's Joe.
Oh, Joe. I just had some awful messages from Nicola.
Awful, huh? I saw the whole conversation. I sat next to her.
What? You're together now?
Yes, we're together now. Or rather, I moved into her place.
What?
I'm only going to give you the quick rundown here.
The quick rundown?
This weird obsession you have with looking at our family like we're part of some kind of royal succession drama in medieval Europe? Eldest sons, brides, heirs? I couldn't care less.
Huh?
All I care about is protecting my family, Nicola and my son. And I have no interest in continuing to have anything to do with anyone who bullies my wife. That's why we're cutting all ties with you, Mom.
Cutting all ties?
It goes without saying, but you'll never see your grandson.
Oh my god! That child's the heir of our dynasty! Just like you were! Do you seriously think you could do this to me?
Dad gave us the go-ahead. What's the problem?
What?
Anyway, Mom, I gotta ask. Heir? Dynasty? What the hell are you talking about? You're the only person I've ever heard using those old-fashioned words outside of movies. Besides, Dad works in an office cubicle looking at numbers on a screen for crying out loud. He's hardly the king of France.
But...
Nah, no buts. That's it. Never contact us again.
Wait, Joe!
After that, my mother-in-law completely lost it and sent me lots of hateful messages and voicemails, blaming me for taking her family away from her. But Joe showed me how to block her, and I never heard from her again. The next day, just to be on the safe side, we both bought new phones and changed her numbers. She did embark on a desperate search for the whereabouts of her estranged son and grandson, but in spectacular irony, she didn't even know where my parents lived because she had such little interest in me. As a result, there's no danger of her tracking us down and showing up out of the blue. And we're living our new family life in peace and harmony. Oh, and by the way, we are still in contact with my father-in-law, who's always been super supportive towards us. He gives us status reports on his wife from time to time. But sadly, he says she still hasn't shown an ounce of remorse, instead blaming everyone except herself for the mess she made. It seems the prospect of her meeting her grandson is still nothing but a distant hope. Last we heard from him, he's seriously considering divorce. Can you blame him?